Developing news on the death investigation of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife. Tonight, police have released several new details from the scene.
The couple and one of their dogs was found dead inside their New Mexico home yesterday.
Gene Hackman was a Hollywood legend, a commanding presence on screen who left an undeniable mark on American cinema. Known for his roles in classics like The French Connection, Unforgiven, and Superman, Hackman embodied grit, intensity, and authenticity in every role. He also lived a private life in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he retreated from Hollywood to pursue a quieter existence. His death, however, has become the center of a chilling investigation. With conflicting reports and no immediate cause of death, the investigation into Gene Hackman's passing has raised more questions than answers. A mysterious discovery.
There was no indication of a struggle. There was no indication of anything that was missing from the home or disturbed. That would be indication that there was a crime that had occurred.
The tragic scene unfolded when a maintenance worker arrived at Gene Hackman's Santa Fe residence and immediately sensed something was wrong. The front door was slightly ajar, an unusual sight given the couple's typically secure home. Failing to receive a response after knocking multiple times, the worker grew increasingly uneasy. Knowing Hackman's age and recent decline in health, he alerted neighborhood security, who soon arrived to assess the situation. Peering through a window, the security officer saw something alarming: two unresponsive bodies in different rooms of the house. They immediately called emergency services. When authorities arrived, they made their way into the home and were met with an eerie silence. Hackman's body was found in what appeared to be a mudroom near his cane, suggesting he may have been trying to steady himself before a fall. His wife, Betsy Arakawa, was discovered in a separate part of the house, an open bathroom, surrounded by scattered prescription pills and a space heater running nearby. The state of her remains was particularly concerning. The visible bloating and mummification of her hands and feet suggested she had been deceased for an extended period before being found. There was no sign of forced entry, no clear signs of a struggle, and yet something felt off. Another chilling discovery added to the unsettling nature of the scene. The couple's beloved 12-year-old Australian Kelpie mix Zinna was found dead inside a crate just feet away from Arakawa. The dog's passing, combined with the separate locations of Hackman and Arakawa's bodies, made the entire situation even more confounding. Two other dogs, a German Shepherd and an Akita Shepherd mix, were found alive, one in the bathroom near Arakawa, the other outside. Investigators were left with far more questions than answers as they launched an inquiry into what happened inside the home. With the case deemed suspicious enough in nature to require further examination, detectives began gathering as much evidence as possible. Initial testing ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning, one of the first theories considered. But with no obvious signs of trauma, environmental hazards, or a break-in, the investigation quickly became a puzzle of unexplained details. A timeline of uncertainty.
The New Mexico Gas Company, confirming extensive testing at the couple's home, found no traces of carbon monoxide, only finding a minuscule gas leak in the stove far below a lethal amount.
One of the biggest questions surrounding the investigation is the timeline of the deaths. Gene Hackman was not found until February 26th, but a significant breakthrough came when data retrieved from his pacemaker suggested his heart had stopped February 17th, 9 days earlier. The revelation raised a troubling question: how could an internationally recognized actor, even in his later years, go completely unnoticed for such a long period? Friends and neighbors had already taken note of Hackman's declining health. Daniel and Barbara Lenahan, longtime friends of the couple, recalled that the 95-year-old had been growing more frail in recent months. Once an active cyclist who frequently took rides through his Santa Fe neighborhood, Hackman had stopped venturing outdoors entirely. He was described as homebound in his final months, relying more heavily on assistance from those close to him. Despite this, his reclusive lifestyle was not out of character, making this prolonged absence less immediately suspicious. With Hackman's estimated time of death pinpointed by his pacemaker, authorities turned their focus to Arakawa. Given the advanced decomposition of her remains, medical examiners believe she may have died around the same time or possibly days later. The state of her body, combined with the presence of scattered pills and a space heater, suggested she may have experienced a medical emergency. but without a precise cause of death, investigators were left to determine whether her death was natural, accidental, or involved something more sinister. Adding to the complexity of the timeline was the presence of the couple's surviving dogs. If Arakawa had died several days after Hackman, she would have been alone in the house with the animals. The fact that one dog perished while the other two survived raises more questions. Could it suggest that she was alive long enough to care for the dogs before something happened to her? If so, why was one crated while the others roamed free? Investigators are now piecing together surveillance footage, phone records, and autopsy results to create a clearer picture. Investigators look for clues.
Okay. Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
The search warrant affidavit revealed that authorities meticulously documented the evidence collected. 2 cell phones, an orange prescription bottle, and a 2025 planner were among the items recovered from their home. The couple's phone records are being analyzed to establish their last known communications, and their planner may provide insight into any scheduled appointments, visitors, or medical concerns. The prescription pills found near Arakawa were of particular interest. The medication was reportedly prescribed for high blood pressure and thyroid conditions, both of which she had been managing for years. Detectives are now awaiting toxicology results to determine if these medications played a role in her death. Was there an overdose, intentional or accidental? Or had she suffered a sudden medical crisis unrelated to the pills? Authorities also conducted a thorough environmental inspection of the home. The New Mexico Gas Company examined the property for leaks, checking for any carbon monoxide exposure or other hazardous conditions. Their findings showed no significant issues aside from a minor leak at a stove burner, one too small to be life-threatening. Confusion over the dog's death.
I think there was a dog door where they had access to come in and out of the house. So the other dog didn't. He was in a kennel or a crate. It's concerning that everyone in the house, including the dog, is deceased.
Amidst the chaos of the investigation, an unexpected detail emerged. Early reports mistakenly identified the deceased dog as the couple's German Shepherd, but a correction later confirmed it was Zinna, a 12-year-old Australian Kelpie mix. The misidentification stemmed from the sheriff's office, which had initially documented the wrong breed in the search warrant affidavit. Zinna's death remains puzzling. The dog was found inside a crate just feet away from where Arakawa's body was discovered. Given that the other 2 dogs survived, one in the same room, it raised questions about whether Zinna had been intentionally confined. Investigators are examining whether the dog may have succumbed to starvation, dehydration, or exposure. It's also possible that Zinna had an underlying medical condition that contributed to her death. However, given the unusual circumstances, some have speculated whether something more sinister was at play. Could the dog's condition offer a clue to what happened to Hackman and Arakawa? Toxicology tests are being conducted on Zinna as well. The family's response and ongoing questions.
His wife was found in the bathroom. From the scene and from what's been said is that she found her husband in the mudroom, went to very excited, went to the bathroom to get the high blood pressure medication and fell down, pulling a room heater down with her and spilling the pills on the floor, and that she may have struck her head on the way down.
Hackman's nephew, Tim Hackman, has been one of the few family members to publicly address the growing speculation surrounding the case. In an interview, he emphasized that the family was not jumping to conclusions and urged patience while investigators conducted their work. Quote, "We're waiting on toxicology. That will tell us everything," he stated. Aware of the swirling rumors, Tim insisted that the family preferred to focus on honoring Hackman's legacy rather than feeding into theories without solid evidence. Authorities remain steadfast in their investigation, meticulously analyzing every piece of evidence in hopes of uncovering the truth. As of now, no definitive cause of death has been determined, leaving a cloud of uncertainty over the case. The wait for toxicology results continues, as does the lingering question: what really happened inside Gene Hackman's Santa Fe home in those final days? Until answers emerge, the mystery surrounding the deaths of the legendary actor and his wife remains one of Hollywood's most perplexing tragedies. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think about the strange circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman's death? Let us know in the comments section below.